Hello yet again. Today's installment is about philosophy. What is philosophy? Everyone's a philosopher. You, her, them, us. We're all philosophers. After a certain point, puberty, young adulthood, after a certain point of the body's development, we all become philosophers. Whether you're a right wing atheist or you're a believer in this or that, at some point we all look up to the sky and feel and say something in a given language. Everyone's a philosopher. Everyone philosophizes. Everyone asks why, when, who, why, when, where, what, how, no matter what belief system they have, whether it's encoded or codified in a book or it's not, or they refuse all books. Everyone believes in something, and those who believe in nothing, they would tell us that is also a belief, or that's also a worldview. Everyone's a philosopher. Possibly even those underage are philosophers, but I have no idea about child psychology, adolescence, so on and so forth. I believe all adults philosophize, and they're philosophers, maybe not all the time, but everyone is a philosopher. Everyone asks questions. When someone says something, you could ask yourself, why did this person say that and not that? Why did they react like this? Why did they? These are questions we're asking. We're trying to understand the other. We're trying to enter the other's head. We try to handshake their soul. And we're all philosophers. This perhaps might mean we're all psychoanalysts, we're all coaches, we're all trainers, we're all social scientists, we're all cognitive uh, scientists. Different terms, perhaps different euphemisms, and on the ground, different faculties that employ different people that subsequently seduce or attract different students. And that's another ball game, all related to the F word, the four-letter F word that's really fundamental in anything, it seems, and that's fund, Fund. But we're philosophers. Back to the point, the third time to repeat, and we philosophize, and many people place this term in a transcendental or on a transcendental pedestal of sorts. Everyone is a philosopher, from the illiterate 22-year-old in a village, barefoot and barely speaking one dialect, to the person who perhaps has a double PhD in a certain field or not. And they even showed us, or they even demonstrated to us, and I was convinced then, while a student, that even the hard sciences, the white coats, the laboratory sciences, have their own philosophy in their method, in their view of how things should be done. So I was convinced, I was converted to that cause, in that philosophy is a human uh, phenomena. It's in our blood, again, beyond a certain age or stage of development. Others might say this is a regression. Getting older is regressing from day one, but I have no comment on that. I have no particular feelings on that particular line of thought. So, to wrap up, we are philosophers. We think maybe you don't look up to the sky, the stars, maybe you look down to the earth, or you look behind you, or you don't look at all. But if you ask why, when, how, and if you use the words maybe, what if, as an internal voice, that makes you a philosopher. And perhaps there is a human being who doesn't use any of these terms and takes what they're given as is, word for word, and is very content not to know, not to question, because he or she has been convinced that as a mere mortal, we are not meant to know nor question certain things, and their eyes would tell us that they have achieved or retained this inner peace and calm. There's no existential angst. But even then, I would believe philosophize at some points. Small examples, maybe something happens in the kitchen. Why did that fall then? Why couldn't they wait until, what if, and so on? The hypothetical situations, the imagination, the fantasy. I think all of us have a certain dose of these things, uh, and that would make us philosophers. And, a conviction of mine that perhaps others would share. I believe so. I'm not unique amongst the 7 billion, they tell us. Uh, but we're philosophers, and whether we think that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's something we should accept and embrace, not necessarily announce every 20 minutes publicly, but all of us across time and space, irrespective of every other human criteria, we philosophize, possibly even when we're 3 years old. Have a good day.